Hey, it's Andrew Huang, and I've written a book. It's called Make Your Own Rules, and I crammed as much as I possibly could into it about being a creative person in the internet age. It's got some stories from my life and my career, and I wanted to share one of those stories with you today because this was actually a video idea long before it became part of a chapter of this book. It's about a decision I made that absolutely changed my life, and I think at the heart of that decision is something really worth sharing. So yeah, you can pre-order this right now, andrewhuang.com/book, and if you're able to pre-order, it really helps out. You know, it lets the publisher know that this is a high quality, marketable product, and they'll put it in more stores. So if you're able to support that way, I really appreciate it. But let me tell you this story. So about 10 years ago, I was feeling like I could make the transition to doing music and YouTube full time. I had been making a good chunk of my income at the time from commission work, like composing and producing music for whatever companies would hire me, which, by the way, I share how I got to that point in the book as well. But yeah, I was also building an audience online for the weird stuff that I was posting. I was making music, I was making videos, and I thought that I could grow that. Since I was freelance, I could make my own schedule. So I came up with this plan to save up 3 months worth of living expenses. And then I would take 3 months off, turn down any work and any opportunities that came my way, and focus entirely on growing this audience that I had started to attract with my music and my videos. So I cut back on pretty much all non-essential spending for a while, you know, no movies, eating out, drinks, video games, other kinds of entertainment, new clothes. I even cut my own hair. Don't recommend that. Eventually I had enough saved that I could take 3 months off to work on my own projects, and in the amazing way that life often works, right before I was going to start this 3-month run, I was contacted about an amazing opportunity. YouTube wanted to give me a job. Someone there had seen that I was able to grow my channel, and they wanted me to help with various aspects of the platform, including helping other channels grow, including helping onboard some legit celebrities who were interested in starting their own channels. Like, I remember the interviewer telling me they were working with Amy Poehler and Pharrell at the time. So it was going to be an interesting and pretty cushy job. They offered to find me a place to live in San Francisco and hire a service to pack up and move all of me and my wife's stuff, and the salary plus bonuses worked out to almost exactly $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year is an amazing starting salary, no matter what industry you're in. And I would also be living in California instead of Canada. I love you, Canada, but you're super cold. I'd also be bestowing my YouTube knowledge on the occasional cool musician or actor. And I'd also get to be a voice, however small, in shaping this platform that I love to this day. So this was absolutely a dream job. And that made this one of the hardest decisions of my life. I remember I was making about $50,000 a year at the time because I remember thinking I could just tell this interviewer on the phone, I'll take the job, and instantly double my income, which is a ridiculous position to be in. At the time, I had about 40,000 followers, which is not a small number of people, but it wasn't enough for me to comfortably do what I wanted to full time, you know, just making music and videos that I loved for my audience. I was still, as I mentioned, doing commission work as a good chunk of my income. But here's what it came down to for me. I was already almost doing what I wanted to be doing. You know, if I could shed this commissions part of the equation and just grow my audience to the point that I could just make my music, make my YouTube videos, that would be the real dream. Not a dream job, but a dream life. And so I didn't absolutely need this $100,000. I would have liked it, but I didn't need it. I was making my way, you know, making my way downtown. And I had made this commitment to myself to turn everything down no matter what, because I had determined what the best thing for me to do was. It was almost like a trick question that life threw me, you know, because I was thinking, okay, I could just make my music, make my YouTube videos, and that'll be it. And I'll try and get it off the ground. And then YouTube calls me and they're like, do you want a job for a lot of money? And it's like, is this the universe sending me a sign or a big distraction? And I'm sure I could have had a happy life working at YouTube. And I even considered like taking the job for a couple years, saving up a lot, and then, you know, having this buffer that I could live off of while I tried the YouTube and music thing. But it just felt like that would be a step backward. That would be me giving all my time and energy to this other job, even if it was a cool job that I would really enjoy. And I would be losing ground on being able to build my skills and grow my audience and just spend time doing what I loved. So I turned this decision over in my mind for a while, but ultimately I knew I had to shoot my shot. I had earned myself 3 months to focus completely on my own projects. I was right on the cusp of taking this big leap of trying to make my dream come true. And, I wasn't going to look back and wonder what if. And it was really interesting feeling what happened inside me as I made this decision because, I was very seriously considering both of these options and weighing all the pros and cons and really going back and forth about it in my mind. But as soon as I committed to the decision, it was like immediately I knew it was the right thing to do. And I've never looked back and wondered what life would have been like working at YouTube. Never once wished that I had taken that money because I knew that it would have come at a cost. It would have taken me away from working on building my own thing. And those 3 months weren't some magical time where all of a sudden, my audience exploded and everything I put out was amazing or whatever. It was a really gradual process. But it was a faster gradual than the previous very, very gradual because, now instead of spending a third of my time or a half of my time on these projects, I was spending all of my time on it. Nothing was overnight, but I did get better at making videos. I did accelerate the growth of my audience, and it laid a lot of the foundation for where I am today. And, I say it was gradual, and it very much was, but gradual over time is amazing. Smarter people probably call that compounding or whatever. I call it gradual over time. If I look back at just a slightly bigger picture, it's pretty amazing what that continual progress turned into. I turned down that $100,000 a year job when I was making $50,000 a year. 2 years later, doing my own thing, I made more than $100,000. And a year after that, I made more than $200,000. And I share these details with you, I guess, like as a little bit of extra motivational sauce or whatever, but that's not really the point. Let me tell you what the most important thing is, because it's not about the money. If it were about the money, I would have taken YouTube's money. And, at the time when I made this decision, I didn't know how things were going to go for me. I didn't know I was going to be able to grow my revenue at all. I could have made $50,000 a year or less for the rest of my life. But I knew making that decision that if that turned out to be the case, if I made less money, if I made less and less money to the point that I couldn't keep on working in music, I still would not regret that decision because I took the best shot that I could. And I fully recognize already making 50 a year put me in a much more privileged position than many people. And, it would have been much harder to turn down 100K if I were making 30 or if I were making 20. I also didn't have kids at the time. That'll really change your priorities. But even in the position that I was in, everybody that I talked to about this decision kind of thought I was crazy, like you're turning down this stable job, kind of a cool job too. You can move to California, you could touch 6 figures, and you want to keep doing your little music thing. You want to make some YouTube videos. Okay. On paper, that's terrible decision making. But I believe that I had something more special to bring to the world than doing this job, and I bet on myself. I didn't know how it was going to work out, but I bet on myself. And I'm still betting on myself. Now that my profile has risen, I've got companies reaching out who want me to invest or join advisory boards or whatever. I turn all that down. I'm still just interested in investing everything that I can into my own vision of what it looks like to make the world more musical and to empower as many people as possible to be creative and to take the best shots that they can.